Okay, welcome to the lunchtime video for the JNCIE-SP. Last video, I finished up the Snmp, NTP, and AAA section. To do that, I just had it reach out to a Linux server for NTP. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to synchronize to it. There was some sort of issue, but the test is not on configuring a Linux server. It's on configuring the Juniper devices. So it seemed that the issue was with that Ubuntu server and not with the devices themselves. So NTP, from what I understand, from the vantage point of the Juniper, is just as simple as pointing it out to a server, maybe throwing on authentication to it. Really not that difficult of a subject. Probably not something that warrants the 10 videos of content I have devoted to it. The other topic, Snmp, I was able to do a full Snmp walk on the devices. Really easy to set that up to. The minimum configuration required is just a community string on the VMXs. Same deal as with NTP though, it took quite a bit to set that up on the Ubuntu server. Last topic, AAA. All I did was enable remote authentication, so it authenticates through Radius. So I didn't technically enable AAA, which might be a bit of an oversight on my part, but I did start off the video the same way I would any other video, by doing help apropos AAA, and from there I learned about edit unified edge AAA. So I believe if there were something specific to AAA, the day of the test, I could probably figure it out because I am familiar with that hierarchy of the configuration now. So I figured it's time to move on. I had already put 10 videos of effort into that, which I think is probably a bit too much effort for that topic, because I don't think it will be all that exhaustive on the exam. So the next topic, which I think will be more difficult, is going to be secure control plane, firewall filters. So this is where I think the exam could get pretty complex. There's of course going to be probably a no bogans list required, where you're limiting private space from accessing places you don't want it to go. There's probably going to be things for the management server where you only allow your devices to be accessed by your management server and not just any willy-nilly server. So this I expect to be pretty extensive, but let's start it out the same way I would start any other topic, by creating a new file and naming it notes. So I will share my screen 2, and we will see that I had created a new untitled document, but I'm going to change the title to notes, and I'll go back to where I was here. Yep. So, and then I'll start off by having the name of the video. So I'll just grab it from, or yeah, I'll go back to system features to use that as a guide. Yep. There we go. So this is going to be device infrastructure. It's the first video in this series. It's going to be secure control plane though, instead of system features. All right, and then there's only one topic in here, and it's firewall filters. Perfect. So everything's good here. So now let's make sure that my tags are good. So yep, Juniper, these are all standard device tags, but these are going to be a bit different, I think. It's going to be, yeah, we could put firewall in here because we're doing firewall settings. We can also put network security, because this is a big component of that, having proper access permissions set up throughout your network is a big component of network security, of course. I think that's all we're going to need for now. So let's start it off the way I would start off any other topic, and open up router 1 and router 2 side by side, and do a help apropos for the name of the topic. Oops, that's duplicate. I meant to do detach. Both start with a D. There we go. Oops, and it looks like we're a little bit dead in the water because we've got the bug. But it hasn't been too many, maybe 5 minutes tops to reboot the server. So let's do that. I'm sure there's a way to save that password. I don't see the options I usually get. So we should see it. There we go. So it disappears because it's now rebooting. So in the meantime, let's gather up some documentation from Juniper on this. So Juniper Firewall Filter. And let's see if I can get rid of this. Okay, there we go. Yep, and then let's gather that up. So here we go, configuring firewall filters. And we've got an overview as well. So we've got a whole section here, routing policies, firewall filters, and traffic policers guide. So let's have just that main guide be a link in the description. And then, yep, let's read this. So, yeah, let's read this overview and then this configuring CLI procedure as well. Firewall filters, sometimes called access control lists, ACLs, provide rules that define whether to accept or discard packets that are transiting an interface. I want to add ACLs to my tags because it's more commonly known as that. So if anyone wants help with access control lists, this video basically covers that. It's just in Juniper, they're known as firewall filters instead of ACLs, but they are synonyms. If a packet is accepted, you can configure more options on the packet, such as class of service, marking, grouping similar types of traffic together, and treating each type of traffic as a class with its own level of service priority, and traffic policing, controlling the maximum rate of traffic sent or received. You can configure firewall filters to determine where to accept or discard a packet before it enters or exits a port. VLAN, layer 2 CCC, layer 3 routed interface, routed VLAN interface, or MPLS interface. An ingress input firewall filter is applied to packets that are entering an interface or VLAN, and an ingress output firewall filter is applied to packets that are exiting an interface or VLAN. Where you can apply filters. After you configure the firewall filter, you can apply it to the following. So this is a really good point, something I learned about studying with my CCNP, and something that a lot of people new to network engineering can have confused. So you can tend to think that let's see here. So putting it in terms of baseball, you've got a baseball bat and you've got the actual baseball. So the kind of confusion that a lot of beginners can have is they can think that the baseball bat and the baseball are just one single entity. And the only purpose of a baseball bat is to hit a baseball, and you can do nothing else with the baseball bat. Not true at all. When you have the baseball bat, it's only that. It's a baseball bat. It's not a thing meant only to hit baseballs. You can do all sorts of things with a baseball bat. You can hit a mailbox if you're, hopefully no one does that anymore, but you can do things outside of baseball with a baseball bat. It's just an object meant to do a specific thing. So same thing with a ACL. It's not specifically for one thing. It can be applied for lots of things, for NAT, for remote access, for matching traffic for logging purposes. There's multiple things you can do. And basically when you set up an ACL, all you're setting up is something that says, look at this traffic. Setting up what happens after the traffic has been looked at is a second step. So ACLs are all two parts. It's not just one thing. It's the matching of the traffic, and it's the actions you apply based on the matching. And of course, there are situations where you don't even want to apply an action. Like, for example, for logging, you would just say, I want to see how many DNS packets are coming into my router. Well, you can set up a ACL for that and just log anytime a DNS packet comes in. So here are the places you can apply these filters according to this Juniper documentation. Port filters layer 2 traffic transiting system ports. VLAN filters and provides access control for layer 2 packets that enter a VLAN, are bridged within a VLAN or leave a VLAN. Layer 3 routed interface filters traffic on IPv4 and IPv6 interfaces. Routed VLAN interfaces, RVI, and the loopback interface. The loopback interface filters traffic sent to the switch itself or generated by the switch. Layer 2 CCC interface filters layer 2 circuit cross-connect CCC interfaces. MPLS filters MPLS interfaces. You can also apply a firewall filter to a management interface, for example, ME0. So we're not going to have QFXs on the exam, as far as I know. But, here we go. So this is a confirmation of what I was saying. When you configure a firewall filter, you define the family address type, Ethernet switching, INET, INET6, circuit cross-connect, or MPLS, the filtering criteria, terms with match conditions, and the action to take if a match occurs. Each term consists of the following. So this is what I was saying, where a ACL, you're talking about two different things. You're talking about the match condition, and you're talking about the action. So the match condition consists of values that a packet must contain to be considered a match. You can specify values for most fields in the IP, TCP, UDP, or ICMP headers. You can also match on interface names. So knowing those packet structures, people ask you, what is a frame header versus a IP packet header versus a segment? These sorts of questions that really dive deep into the packet structure, which is listed for first the source address or the destination address in the packet header, which is listed first the source MAC address or the destination MAC address in the frame header. They're asking you these specific in detail questions about what the actual traffic looks like, because you will need to know this in order to set up a functioning firewall filter or ACL rule, because you'll need to match based on what that traffic looks like. Action. Action taken if a packet matches a match condition. You can configure a firewall filter to accept, discard, or reject a matching packet, and then perform more actions such as counting, classifying, and policing. The default action is accept. How firewall filters are processed. If there are multiple terms in a filter, the order of the terms is important. If a packet matches the first term, the switch takes the action defined by that term. If no other terms are evaluated, and no other terms are evaluated. If the switch doesn't find a match between the packet and the first term, it compares the packet to the next term. If no match occurs between the packet and the second term, the system continues to compare the packet to each successive term in the filter until a match is found. If no items are matched, the switch discards the packet by default. Okay. Yep, so just like Cisco, where there's an implicit deny all, there's an implicit deny all in JPR as well. That's the most important thing to know when it comes to ACLs or firewall filters in JPR land, is that there's a implicit deny all. So you're gonna want to make that explicit, so that you don't make mistakes and accidentally cut off your legs, cut off management access because you thought, oh, it would be it wouldn't have that implicit deny all in there. Okay, so I read this one, so I'll add this to my notes. All right, so let's take a look at this one here. And yep, so before you can apply a firewall filter to a port, VLAN, or layer 3 interface, you must configure a firewall filter with the required details, such as type of family for the firewall filter name, and match conditions. A match condition in the firewall filter configuration can contain multiple terms that define the criteria for the match condition. For each term, you must specify an action to be performed if the packet matches the conditions in the term. To configure a firewall filter, configure the family address type for the firewall filter. For a firewall filter that is applied to a port or VLAN, specify the address type Ethernet switching to filter layer 2 Ethernet packets and layer 3 IP packets, for example. For a firewall that is applied to a layer 3 routed interface, to filter IPv4 packets. So this makes sense, Ethernet for layer 2, iNet for layer 3. So, yep, and then we'll just need the name of the filter and then the details. If you want to apply a firewall filter to multiple interfaces and name individual firewall counters specific to each interface, configure the interface specific option. Okay, so let's go back to the original planned strategy. Unfortunately, I couldn't follow that for this video because the devices were having that bug where I couldn't access them. So let's do that strategy right now. We're going to be doing a help apropos matching for firewall filter. Oops, so right now it's reaching out to the radius server, but I don't have that set up in there, and we saw before the radius, the Ubuntu Docker guest actually doesn't save its configuration. I think what I'll need to do is do a I think I need to save it somehow, like take a snapshot or something. let's see here. So edit config. Okay, that's just for the interfaces config. So I could do that. Yeah, I could set up the static config to be persistent like that, but I don't know how I can make it persist. Here's a screenshot. So I could import, export node configs. Maybe that would work. Manage snapshots. I could take a new snapshot. Yeah, I think I could do that. I could take a new snapshot and then restore the snapshot and then have that done. So I think I'll try doing that from now on, because it is a big pain to constantly have to re-download those packages. But let's set this up again. So we got to change this to ETH1. But then oops, it's going to be, oh, perfect. Okay. Perfect. All right, so now we can access the management of all of the devices. Okay, so now I'm going to download the free radius on here. I think I remember. Oh, I did not do a apt-get install, apt-get update. Okay, so now let's try to get that free radius on here, and then hopefully I can figure out just from memory what I learned before for how to add a client on there that is acceptable, and then how to add a actual user as well. But I might need to look that up again. Okay, and then at the end of this video, I will take a snapshot and hopefully not have this problem going forward. The problem being having to reinstall everything on my Ubuntu every time I come back to my lab. Okay, so here's all my things. So let's go here. There we go. Aha, and now we've got users. We've also got clients. So let's just start off by backing up the users. I'm going to practice what I preach here. Oh, it is a file. So copy users, users.bik, and now nano users. Okay. So we'll make a user under Steve Wilson here. No, actually, no, we're going to make a user. Here we go, under John Doe. Okay, so the password is going to be radius. And then we won't need a reply message. It's not even going to show up anyways. Okay, but yeah, let's try that. Okay, so this is in debug mode. So let's try authenticating and see if it triggers or if I'll have to add this as a client or modify that client's file in any way. So got my name set up, password radius. So yep, sure enough, it's not working. Ah, unknown clients. So I will be editing that clients. So I'll practice what I preach, back it up first. Okay. So here we go, under this client some host, we're gonna do client R1 secret, and I don't remember the secret. It's going to be in the configuration. I think it's like, yeah, I don't remember the secret. So I will create a new one. Oops, so right now it's trying to reach out to radius. That's why there's that long delay. This is something you'll see a lot out in production. Oops, there's this long delay. What's happening? What's happening is it's trying to reach out for remote authentication, but it can't find a server, so it's just timing out. Oh, I thought that was, oh yeah. So I've got the failover set up, so it'll try reaching out, but then it will fail over and let me in. But there will be that long pause because it's going to attempt to authenticate me via radius first. Oops, either that or something else. I'll try the root account. In this case, we got another long pause because it's doing that same thing, but hopefully in this case it can fail over because the password is set up correctly. Okay, I just can't log in. I don't know what the credentials are. Okay. Oh, right. Okay, so I've got to give it the host name. Yep. So I'm missing the IP address, IPADDR. Oops, looks like it went really fast that time. So I'm betting that's because, yeah. Okay, well, it's letting me go and so let's do my name, and then the password is going to be, so I'll try this count that I have there, and then I'll go radius. So login incorrect. So that's interesting because it's rejecting it. Unprintable characters and password. Login attempted with, oh, so it looks like they're saying radius didn't match, even though okay, well, that's interesting because it does match. So let's look at the clients again, or sorry, users. All right, so did I spell this wrong? Nope. All right, that's strange. So I think what's going on is the password to authenticate is not correct for the client. So hopefully there is one device I can get into. There we go. So this one doesn't have radius set up on it. Oh, yeah. So, but if I go into configure private, oops, and then I do a set, and we'll just do a bogus server for now. We'll do an edit. So you can set up a secret, which I did do on Router 1, but I just don't remember what the secret I used was. I guess I did post the video, so I can go back and look at it there. So I think that was in the video, the last video. So playlists, and then, yep, the video number 10 in this playlist, which I think they're not in order. Oh, they are in order. Sweet. Okay. So yeah, it should be in here somewhere. So wherever I'm on Router 1 and I'm setting up radius, I hopefully can see the password I used. So here it looks like I am on Router 1. So I remember I forgot what it was before. So I guess I'll write it down, make notes. If I can get back in. Yeah, so yeah, here's the secret there. So I don't know what secret that is. I don't know if this is where I reset it. Okay, this might be where I reset it because I forgot what it was.
Okay, so we did not get a reply, and ICNP replied the same way we did. So it looks like that. But then out.
Okay, so this looks like I'm getting there.
And what makes calling them out then. Ubuntu Docker guess. So I think it's not a security risk at all. In fact, it's a necessary contingency when something goes wrong. Oh, right. So there's the set authentication order parts. There's also a game server, but that's, I think, yeah, that's just for DNS. We don't need DNS. So let's do edits, radius server, and then our radius server is going to be the Ubuntu Docker guest. So I config, yep. So set goes to edits. Let's do set. See what we've got. So we're going to need to specify the source address because if I do route, I've only got a route. I can't hit those interconnects at all. So until we saw 10.0.4.2, well, I don't have well, I thought I was going to say, oh, no. So it's going to send it out directly connected to the server, but for other devices where they don't have the when you use 2072, that's 1. Then we'll need the secret. And we'll use radius password.
Okay, so found it, radius password. So this doesn't happen again. I will keep better notes. There you go. And now I will change the configuration on the Ubuntu for the clients. Perfect. There you go. And now it's going to be the secret radius password. Okay, so now hopefully it will authenticate. Oh, maybe because it's not running. Still thinking about it. Nope. Ah, so perfect. That was kind of a crazy roundabout, but now that I'm authenticated with Radius server, through that password, I can use my user account. So say radius password and then management user goes. And it'll say radius user. Okay, so that looks good enough for me. We're authenticating via radius. So, yep, we've got about 10 minutes left. So let's see here. We've got everything for the most part good to go, but one thing I haven't done yet is just the basic help apropos for firewall filter. Just kind of ran into some issues, unfortunately. There we go. So we've got all the help in the world we could possibly need. Let's start with this one. To configure standard firewall filters, include the firewall statement at the edit hierarchy level. Firewall, so here's our matching, and then, so that one's pretty light. Let's look at the examples. The following examples illustrate how to define firewall filters. So that's kind of too bad. It's just showing us where to look, but not showing us anything else. Yep, well, let's see here, firewall standards. So help was kind of hard to come by for this, but okay. Configure the firewall name, include the name here. So I think it's just not that complicated to where extensive help is needed. So yep, let's set up firewall filters so that we cannot manage these devices. So right now, if I were to just pull up a regular old terminal shell on my laptop here, I thought I could. Why can't I? That's interesting. I should be able to, right? No, it's because, no, I shouldn't be able to because my, yeah, that shouldn't be possible. Yeah, if I do a trace route, I think it'll be more clear why that is the case. Because it will just get to my home router, but my home router doesn't know how to get to that other space. because my home router doesn't have a route for that. I could set one up on my home router that has a route to that. But I think what I'd rather do is just set up another Ubuntu server that we can just call malicious server or something like that. I don't know, I'm tempted to just set up my home router so that my laptop can access that and then use that as okay, so yeah, so I just need to give it a static route. And then I need to say the route name, GNS3 lab, and then the destination, IP address 172, and I can show this. There's nothing that I need to keep hidden on this page. 16 dot 0.0. Subnet mask is going to be 255.255.255.248. And the gateway, we're going to send it to 192.168.0. Dot 2. Oh, metric. I'm not sure what a good metric is. I'll just go with, I'll go with 10. Okay, so now let's try it. So it should get to 192.168.1.1 and then be able to get farther than that. Looks like it's not able to do that. Okay. Let's give it a metric of 0. And let's try this with .1. Oh. Oh, well, 10 was good. Okay. Shouldn't that work? I don't understand why it should. Because it should. So my router, home router is at 192.168.1.1. Oh, you know what? I've got to give it. I know what I'm doing wrong. So the next hop here, because right now I'm saying do the next hop, because basically what I'm configuring when I configure that is this cloud, and I'm telling it to use this link. So yeah, that's not going to work. It's got to use ETH0 on the Ubuntu Docker guest. I'm telling it to use ETH1. So let's see what's on ETH0. Oops, the Ubuntu Docker guest seems to be down. I think it was 192.168.1.16. Oops, so that's not it. Oh, okay. Now it's getting better. It's just something's going on with the Ubuntu Docker guest right now. Yeah, I lost the command line on it. Oh, okay, never mind. It's because I had that running. It's going to be 26 instead of 16. So let's edit that. We're going to say 26. Apply. There we go. Oh. Okay. Okay, so I've got an extra hop now. So I did give it the right address. Yeah, it's just that I don't have a route on my Ubuntu Docker guest. If I do route, yeah, if I'm doing here, well, I do have a route here. Oh, okay, but it's telling it to use, no, that's right. Okay. Huh. Seems like it would be right. Okay, well, anyway, this is the end of the lunchtime video. I've only got 3 minutes left before I gotta get back to work. Yeah, all I was basically trying to do is set up a situation, delete this, don't need it, where I can demonstrate a filter on one of these devices allowing one machine but not allowing another. So I think a better way to do that is, instead of just trying to use my laptop as the second machine, because I'm going to need to configure my home router and do a lot more advanced networking, which I could figure out, but it's just kind of a waste of time. I'll just put it down another Ubuntu Docker guest and give it a different IP and show that one can access but the other can't, and it's because of the ACL. And then once I can do that, I think I'll move on from this. So before I end the video though, I will be taking a snapshot, not a screenshot, but it's a snapshot. And we'll name it hopefully it will allow me such a long name. So I have created the snapshot. Oh, project must be stopped in order to export it. So yeah, I kind of rather not stop the project. It's just, the point is so I can just pull it up and no time lost, go in really fast. So if I can't have that with the snapshot, I guess I'd rather not do that. I guess I could, at the end of the lab, shut them down and then take a snapshot and then put them up again, come back. But yep, but I'm out of time. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.